Whoa. This week's episode, you guys, a man on the inside was nuts. Remember Charles? Our guy undercover at the retirement home?
Pacific View,
Yeah,
yeah.
Pacific View. But this week things got crazy. Stolen stuff, family drama,
Oh, yeah.
a little bit of danger even.
Things are really heating up.
Definitely not your typical retirement community, huh?
No, not at all. And you really saw that come to the forefront at that resident council meeting. You know, you think you're going in for some bingo, some shuffleboard,
Well,
but people are fired up, complaining about the food, the thermostat,
yeah,
and then out of nowhere, Elliot accuses Charles of stealing his watch.
awkward.
Right. Talk about a way to kick off an episode.
Totally. And it really puts Charles in a tough spot.
Oh, absolutely.
He has to defend himself, but also, keep his cover.
Right, he can't just break character. The writers did a great job there, I think, really building the suspense from the get-go.
Totally. And as if things weren't complicated enough, who shows up?
Oh, yeah.
His daughter, Emily.
Emily throws a whole wrench in things.
Family drama time.
For sure. And she brought a whole new level of energy to the episode, I think.
Yeah.
She's got that detective streak herself.
Yeah.
Not afraid to get a little suspicious.
And remember, she has no idea Charles is undercover.
Right.
So she immediately is like, something's fishy. And she's pointing fingers at this new employee, Jalen.
Oh, yeah. She's got her eyes on him from the start. And I love how they're weaving all these different storylines together. You got the stolen watch mystery, Charles and Emily's family dynamic,
Right. Yeah.
and then just the overall tension between all the residents. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, totally. And, we can't forget the importance of family in this episode. Charles's niece, Julie, is visiting. You see how much he loves her.
Yeah, it was a really sweet moment. And it makes you think about the isolation that some of these residents might be feeling, like Elliot, for instance.
Right, yeah.
It adds another layer to the story.
Yeah. Okay, but back to the mystery. So Charles and Emily,
Mm-hmm.
they team up to investigate this Jalen guy.
Right, yeah.
Right. And their attempts to blend in.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. Seeing Charles trying to act all cool and hip, I was cracking up. It's the perfect mix of humor and suspense.
Yeah, and things take a serious turn, though, when Elliot confronts Charles about the watch.
Oh, yeah.
It gets physical.
It was intense. You suddenly realize how much danger Charles might actually be in.
Right, the stakes were high.
For sure. And it makes you wonder about Elliot. Is he just a grumpy old man? Or is there something more to him?
Right. What's his deal? What's his motive? And as the episode goes on, Charles and Emily, they start noticing some weird stuff with the other residents, right?
Here.
People are kind of avoiding Charles, almost like they know something they're not saying.
Yeah, very suspicious. And then Emily finds out that some staff members had access to the residents' rooms right when all this stuff went missing.
Well, that's right.
Not looking good.
No. And in the middle of all this chaos, we get this really sweet moment between Charles and Emily, right? She confronts him about how dangerous this whole thing is, shows she really cares about him.
It was a nice reminder that Charles isn't just some superhero,
Right.
He's a dad, and his actions have real consequences.
Yeah, for sure. And as the episode ends, we are left with a ton of unanswered questions. I mean, is it Jalen? Is it a staff member?
Right.
Is Elliot playing everyone?
Or is there someone else we haven't even thought of yet? Ugh. The writers are masters at keeping us on the edge of our seats.
I know. I need to know what happens next.
I'm totally hooked. This show just keeps getting better and better.
So what about you? What are your big takeaways from this episode?
For me, it's how they managed to combine this mystery with these bigger themes
Yeah.
about aging and isolation and family. It's more than just a whodunit. It's a story about real people.
Yeah, I totally agree. This show is it's great.
Really is.
And I feel like the best is yet to come.
Oh, for sure. I think things are just going to keep getting more and more intense. This episode really made me think about how we see older people,
Yeah.
It's easy to just stereotype, but this show, it shows how complex these characters are.
Yeah, like with Elliot. At first, he just seems like this grumpy guy who complains a lot.
Right.
But then they give you those little hints about his past.
Yeah.
You realize he's dealing with a lot of loss and loneliness.
Exactly. And it makes his behavior make more sense. Even the outbursts. It's like, okay, this guy's hurting.
Right.
It reminds you not to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, but okay, part of me still thinks Elliot might be involved somehow.
Oh, really?
What if he just misplaced the watch and he's trying to cause trouble?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it's possible, right? The show keeps you guessing about everyone.
Right.
That's what keeps it fun.
Speaking of motives, what about Jalen? Think he's a real suspect or just a distraction?
I'm not sure. This episode definitely paints him as suspicious. And Emily, she's usually right about these things. Plus,
Really?
he's new to Pacific View, so we don't know anything about him.
Right, like what if he's there for some secret reason, trying to pull something sneaky?
Ooh, that's a good theory.
Right.
But then again, that could be exactly what the writers want us to think, you know?
True.
They're good at leading us down the wrong path.
Yeah. Okay, so if it's not Jalen, then who? I mean, Charles and Emily, they pointed out that staff had access to the rooms when the thefts happened.
Totally. Big red flag.
Right.
It makes you think, who on the staff would have a reason to do this?
And what about Virginia? What's her deal? Do you think she's involved?
I don't know. She's a really interesting character, though. Remember how she freaked out when Charles asked her about the thefts?
Yeah, she was acting super weird.
Like she's hiding something?
Totally. What if she stole it to get back at Elliot?
Ooh. Or to frame him.
Right. Or maybe she's trying to protect someone, like another resident or a staff member.
Oh, good point. This is getting complicated.
I know, right?
It's like a giant puzzle. Each episode gives us a few more pieces, but we can't see the whole picture yet.
And the writers are so good at building suspense.
Oh, yeah, they know how to keep us hooked.
Totally agree. And they don't forget the humor either.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The comedy in this episode was spot on.
Like Charles trying to be all cool and young.
I know. It's amazing how it can be so serious and then so goofy in the same episode.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of serious, that scene where Emily confronts Charles about his undercover life,
Intense.
so intense. You could really feel how much she cares about him.
Yeah.
It also reminded us that Charles's actions, they have consequences, not just for him, but for his family too.
Totally. It made me realize this undercover thing isn't a game, you know? He could get hurt.
Exactly. And it makes you think about their relationship. Will she try to stop him? Will she find out the truth?
Oh, I need answers. And what about Elliot? Think he's gonna back off and keep pushing Charles?
I think he's going to keep causing trouble.
Yeah.
He's got all these unresolved issues, and it seems like Charles is becoming his target.
It's like Elliot sees Charles as an easy person to blame for everything.
Yeah. But I think he's underestimated Charles.
I wouldn't want to mess with him. Me neither. He might be retired, but I bet he can still handle himself.
Ooh, can't wait to see what happens. You know what they say? At Pacific View, nothing is as it seems.
You got that right. So let's dive into some fan theories.
So the internet is going wild with theories about who the thief is.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's got their own ideas.
I
Some
know.
of them are pretty crazy.
It's like the writers have given us clues about every single character.
Right.
So everyone's a suspect.
Exactly.
It's so much fun trying to figure out who's telling the truth and who's lying.
Okay, so let's start with the most popular theory, Jalen. A lot of people online are pointing fingers at him, especially since he's new at Pacific View, and Emily's convinced he's up to something.
Yeah, I can see why people think it's him.
Right.
I mean, as a new employee, he'd have more opportunity to scope things out,
Right.
figure out the security.
Yeah.
Easier to steal without getting caught.
Plus, we don't know anything about him, really. Like, why does he want to work there?
Exactly. What's his motive?
Right.
Maybe he's got a secret agenda.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But, you know, maybe that's exactly what the writers want us to think.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe they're trying to trick us, make us focus on Jalen so we don't see the real thief.
It's like a magic trick. They distract you with one hand while they do something sneaky with the other.
Oh.
Okay, so what about the staff then?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the theories are pointing to someone on the inside, right?
It makes sense they have access to all the rooms,
Yeah.
people's belongings. It would be a huge betrayal, but it's definitely possible.
And we can't rule out the residents themselves. Some fans are thinking maybe it's one of the seniors.
Oh, interesting.
Someone like Elliot, you know? He's already shown that he can be confrontational.
Right.
Maybe he'd go as far as stealing.
Yeah, and we still don't know much about his past. What if he's got a reason to do this that we haven't seen yet?
Oh, that's a good point. And then there's Virginia. What do you think about her?
Oh, Virginia, she's suspicious, right? Remember how nervous she got when Charles questioned her?
Yes.
Like she was hiding something?
Totally. What if she stole the watch to get back at Elliot?
Ooh.
Good
Or
one.
frame him.
Or to protect someone else who works there?
Ooh. Good one. This is getting so complicated.
I know.
But that's what makes it so good.
Exactly.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle.
Totally.
Each episode gives us more clues, but we still don't know the whole picture.
And the writers are so good at keeping us in suspense.
They really are. It's like they know exactly how much information to give us to keep us hooked.
Right. And they don't just focus on the mystery. They balance it out with the humor, the emotional stuff.
Oh, totally. This episode had everything. The mystery, the characters, the family drama,
Yeah.
and of course the funny moments. Like, you gotta love Charles trying to fit in with the younger crowd.
Oh my gosh, he was so funny. I love how they can make us laugh and keep us guessing at the same time.
Yeah, this episode was awesome, but it leaves us with so many questions.
I know.
Who is the thief? Why did they do it?
And will Charles and Emily figure it all out? We'll have to wait and see. I can't wait for the next episode.
Me either.
If you guys are loving this recap, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We break down all your favorite shows. You don't want to miss it.
We'll be back soon with more TV recaps. See you then.